All right, hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome back to Harvest Help Incorporated, our contracting series here on Saxlingham in the UK. This is Needs More Drums for episode 2 of the series, and we just got paid for the final contract that we did in the last episode. So our bank account is up to 37,000, and we just picked up another contract. We actually we've already gotten to the field. We're waiting for Richard to bring the tractor back up, but we have the header hooked up already. Common's looking a little dirty, but we got to keep working right now. No time to go and wash it. So no worries there. But here's the field. It is about 12, just under 12 acres. It's a wheat field, so we'll get this harvested. But before we do, I want to talk about what I was talking about in the last episode, which is we are going to change the way that we get paid for our contracts. And so I wanted to do something a little bit different, a little bit more potentially realistic. You guys, let me know what you think about this. I'll probably do this for an episode or two and then maybe leave a poll up if you want me to continue tracking the payment this way. But I've done some research and I think this is kind of going to be an interesting way to play the game. I've never tried this before and I haven't really seen anybody else do it yet either. So let me go ahead and pop open a spreadsheet and I'll talk you guys through what we're going to do. Okay, so as you can see here, I have a little spreadsheet of some data from the, it's actually from the NAAC Contractor Price Guide for 2025, and this is it's from the Farmers Weekly. So you can go check out this website. Just look up UK farming contracting prices, and you can find this data as well. So it actually has a bunch of data for literally every single type of machine that you can rent. Different tractors or different horsepowers and things. And so it's really comprehensive in figuring out, kind of the average contracting prices for farmers, which I thought was really, really cool. So I figured what we could do is we could calculate our contract payment just based off of, this data and see, I'm curious to see how it corresponds to what's already in Farming Simulator. So, in Farming Simulator, I think the rate is it's kind of about $1,000 per acre, I think. Yes, it's $1,000 per acre, give or take. So this contract right now that we're about to do in the game is worth about 12,000. But I'm curious how much we're gonna get calculating it this way. I think it's gonna be way, way, way less, which kind of adds a fun bit of realism too. But what is cool though is that we have some different specific combining prices. So you can see we have the job description, the rate that is in pounds, and then we've converted it to dollars at an exchange rate of 1.34. I work in finance, so this is I do this type of stuff all day, and so this is kind of fun for me. But anyway, so you can see we have different rates of measure per depending on the type of job that we're doing. So these combining jobs are measured on a per acre basis. So for 12 acres, we'll get $64 per acre. And we can, do the math and just figure out kind of what we're going to get here. So we do have a straw. I think we have a straw chopper. I would assume that means that we're going to swath it maybe. So I think we'll use this higher rate, or we could use the lower rate and just spread it across the field, whatever the chopper is. And then we also have grain carting. So we do have Richard doing that. So we'll charge on a per hour basis for that. The average rate is about $78. And then we also have, I'm not sure if they're really renting the equipment since it's kind of like our equipment. I don't think I'm going to be charging for this. This sounds like more so if you're a farmer and you need to get your hands on an extra tractor and you're renting the tractor by the hour, So this isn't really related to, I think, what we're doing. I think what we're going to be doing is just, this top section here. So depending on the type of crop, we have cereals, we have row crops, and we'll be grain carting everything. So the only caveat is that right now our game is in real time because we're in August. And when you start a new game, obviously the first month, you can't immediately change the number of days in the month. And so we're running at 1x speed. So we're only going to get, it's sort of, I guess it kind of pans out to be the same because we could just do more fields in a day, so we could still make some money. but it is real time right now, as opposed to once we get into the next month in September, we'll be running at what I usually run, which is 5 times speed. So we'll be able to cover, more hours in a single contract just based on the way that the game timing works. But then we also have more days in the month too. So we do 3 days at 5x speed. So can't complain about that. Looking forward to doing this. So as like a frame of reference, if we just do some quick math here, if we do this, times 12. So we're just for the field, we're at almost, well, not even almost $1,000, but $700. So not going to be a ton, not going to be a ton of money at all. Yeah, actually, this is not going to be a ton of money at all. We might be taking significant pay cuts, even if we have the straw chopper. And I'm going to do some research real quick and just see what exactly the straw chopper means, whether that's swathing or spreading it across the field. So let me go do some research real quick and I will be right back. All right, so just did some quick little internet research, and I'm confident that we have a straw chopper on our combine. I think that some combines just don't have the ability to disperse the straw evenly across the field. I think they can only drop swaths. So in our case, we do have a chopper. It's good to get the straw spread. It serves as a natural, kind of a bit of a natural fertilizer to the field. So we're going to do that unless we're told otherwise, since we're not, making any bales from this or anything. We're not going to bother swathing it. So yeah, I'm going to conservatively say that our combine will be able to charge the swath price or the chopper price for our combining, which is good. So, we get a little bit of extra money. It comes out to about, I think, just under $900 for our base fee for this contract. And then obviously we will be getting the hourly rate for the grain carting as well. So if there's any reason that you guys think differently about the way that I'm structuring this pricing, I might do a little bit more digging and see if I should factor in, the cost of me and Richard, and, to the extent that we do need to factor in the cost of the tractor and the trailer, let me know. But for now, I think we're just going to do it as like, we're just getting kind of more paid for our time, so to speak. So I don't know if we really need to pay. I don't think we need to charge. Like, since we're here driving our equipment, we're not like renting it out. It's a little bit of a gray area for me. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. If I should be charging more, but I guess for now we're trying to get our foot in the market, get some business. So I guess the less money that we charge our potential clients, the happier they'll be and the more business we'll get. Hopefully word will spread fast in the area that we're, maybe the affordable guys that do a good job. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump in the combine here and we'll get started. I do have to unfold the harvester. I forgot to do that. And Richard should be on his way here, but we'll go ahead and get started with a couple of headland passes. So let's go jump into a time lapse. I'll start the clock conservatively at 1 p.m. here, so we can get this rolling. And I think I actually have to attach any. Oh, I do. So I did install the manual attach mod. So we do have to actually install the PTOs on the header. I just tried to fire it up and realized that it wasn't gonna turn on unless I did that. So good thing I remembered to do that. But all right, let's actually turn this around so that we can make sure that the auger pipe is on the correct side. And I know I got my what do you call it here? The way of my trailer's over there somewhere. I think there's a fence behind us too, so I want to be mindful of that. But yeah, I'm just gonna position this here real quick. Let's go back just a little bit more. We'll go ahead and back up on this road here. There we go. This should give us a nice little spot to turn in. All right, got the header fired up. Go ahead and jump in, get some harvesting done. All right, we are making some pretty good progress, I gotta say. Richard went off to go and deliver the grain, so we're gonna wait for him to get back. We'll just take a little break. It is tough, you know, this being a two-man operation, I gotta say. You know, we do have a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, but a little bit of downtime depending on where, you know, we have to deliver the grain and stuff. So one of these days, you know, if we get like some faster tractors, you know, even a bigger trailer, even a bigger combine, you know, that can hold more in the hopper, all of those things would be good investments in the future. But yeah, we'll just go ahead and wait for him to get back, and then I'll probably just finish up this field and then catch up with the guys once we're done with that, and we'll talk. We'll talk, you know, how much money we made from this contract, and probably get another, you know, one or two in today if we can. It's still pretty early in the day. We have plenty of beautiful weather ahead of us. I'm in 83 and sunny right now. Just you couldn't ask for better harvesting weather here in this part of the world. It's just absolutely fantastic. So we'll go ahead and knock this out, and I'll talk to you guys in a minute. And all right, guys, Richard just is on his way to the animal dealer to go and drop off that last load of grain. You could see our contract is already 94% complete. We're done harvesting the field. Jump out here and take a look. Looking real good. Didn't take us that long, so I think we'll depending on what time he gets up to the grain sell point, I think we'll be sitting at about an hour and a half for the total time of the contract. Started at about 1 o'clock and should get done about 2:30 here. So we'll put that as our time to charge our hourly rate for the grain carting. But speaking of which, let's go ahead and get the costs all figured out. And yeah, you can see there's a little bit of an issue. I think when I quit the game, I think he was just unloading the grain, and it for some reason kept the trailer in the upright position. You can see here, let's jump out, you can see he's driving past. I think we got a little bug here. Always gotta love things like this, but I couldn't figure out how to get it fixed, so I think we'll just, once he unloads it, I think it should reset. But just, you know, ignore that for now. But yeah, so you can see here, if we put our end time at about 2:30, and then we could say, you know, this is 1.5 hours. So in our combine costs, we had 12 acres on field 38. So I'm actually going to try to track these. I'm going to keep track of this just for the fun of it. You know, we'll keep track of each episode, kind of the fields that we do, the contracts that we do, and see kind of what happens. But yeah, so for combine costs, we have 12 acres times our combining with a straw chopper. So we'll do in dollars, that's our base cost. And then our carting costs are going to be this on a per hour basis times that. So now we have our total. Didn't even make a total row. And so this will just be the sum of those two. And so that is not a lot of money. Again, if you guys think that I'm, you know, kind of undervaluing this at all, let me know. I feel like I don't have a good frame of reference. You know, in the game, it doesn't feel like a lot of money considering what they charge for the contracts. But I think maybe in you know, reflective of real life, this actually makes a lot more sense, because to do 12 acres, I mean, that took us no time at all for an hour and a half's worth of work to make like $1,000 bucks. That's not bad. And actually, this isn't even counting fuel costs and everything. So I think what we're going to do is typically in the game, you get a little bit of a bonus from extra harvest income that goes over the, you only have to deliver a certain amount of the harvest and then you get to keep the remainder. So I think we'll just sell that up front and then chalk that up to like fuel costs. So we'll get a little bit of we'll get a little bit of extra money. I mean, it might even come out to an extra $1,000 or something. But honestly, compared to the base game contract amount, I wouldn't mind making a couple grand. And I know it might not be the most realistic, but I think this is a fun way to do this. Just like actually charging for our time and that the acreage of the field and the time it takes us to do it, incentivizes us to work efficiently. We want to get through as many fields as we can and kind of, keeping things a little bit more realistic than getting like $20,000 for a contract, which I think is just a little bit too much. But $1,000 or a couple $1,000 for a bigger field, I think that's not too unreasonable if we're one of the only people in the area that has a good combine. So we'll make that happen. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and take off the header, and then once he gets done with that, there are some more once Richard gets done with delivering the grain, there are some more contracts that I think we can take. It's only about 2:30, so we have plenty of time to do some other work. Let's go ahead and jump into the overview and kind of see what we got going on here. So I was actually eyeing this one, this field 9 right here. So this is a barley field, and the sell point is at the Flotman grain. We delivered a little bit to there before, and the nice thing about this one is it's kind of right down the road from the sell point, so we're not going to spend a lot of time, carting the grain like across the map. Like this one looks promising as well. As a smaller field, only like 14.5 acres. But notice the sell point is all the way across the map, so we're going to be spending a lot of time idling while we wait to get that grain delivered. I think it might be best to do, we might give this one a try. It's a little bit of a bigger field, but we do have plenty of time in the day. If this is the last one we do today, I'm not, super disappointed. But I think this might be a winner for today. I think we'll go ahead and pick this one up once we get ourselves situated after this contract that we have going on right now. So yeah, we got to jump out here again, detach the PTO there on the header, and then I think we can just. There we go. Oh, that's not gonna. Is that gonna? Perfect. Yeah, it is fun having that manual attach mod. It makes it a little bit more. Got to jump out of the tractor or the combine and actually detach the tools manually. It adds for another, cool little bit of realism there that I've been really enjoying. Little things like that, the little mods like that make the game a little bit more interesting. So anyway, so I think what we're actually gonna do here, though. Oh, this is gonna be fun though. I gotta kind of figure out how close we are to attaching the trailer, which you can see we got quite a bit, but we're kind of online there. I'm not too mad about that, so we'll just back this up just a little bit more. Should be able to hook this up now. Oh, not too bad, guys. Not too bad. Hook that up. I don't think we have any hoses for this one, do we? No, it doesn't look like it. Okay. So I actually think, though, I will say for this next contract, I think I am going to switch roles, and I'm going to do some of the grain carting, and then Richard can, have a chance to run the combine. I think I've been doing all the combining so far, and I'd like to jump into that Fiat, and I wouldn't mind a little bit of a sitting and kind of waiting for the combine to fill up. I'm not really going to complain about that too much because we've been working real hard today. So let's go ahead down to field 9, which I'm actually going the wrong way. Oh, whatever. We'll take the back roads so we're not impeding all the traffic. But yeah, we'll go ahead and meet once Richard's done dropping off that grain. We'll go ahead and meet him there, and then we'll get started with the next contract. So I'll see you guys in a minute. All right, so you can see we did get about $1,300 in excess harvest, so that'll be enough to definitely cover the fuel costs and everything associated with our contracting work. And we'll go ahead and accept the contract now. So now we got 12,000 from that contract, so we'll actually go into Easy Dev, set our money back to 38,645. And now we'll go ahead and add our base contract, which is 977. So again, back into Easy Dev, we'll go add 977. And now there's our account after the contract, 39,622. So not bad. I kind of like not making an insane amount of money from contracts. It actually means we have to work a little bit more, and you know, the money's not going to come as easily. So instead of, you know, making $12,000, we've only made about $2,000 compared to the base game pricing. So let's go ahead and accept that new contract now that we've gotten paid for the other one. So again, if we look at this here, we're going to take this contract on field 9. 22.88 acres, about 23. We'll, of course, round up. And we'll accept this. Let's go head over there and get started. You can see Richard's already making his way there. He'll beat us there probably. I should have probably just taken the main road after all, but you know what? We'll enjoy the scenic route for now, because why not? And yeah, as we're making our way to the field here, you can see. You know what, we'll actually stop for fuel real quick, just to be sure, because we do have a bigger field ahead of us, and I would hate to get all the way over there and then realize that we don't have enough fuel to finish the contract in one go. So here's our yard. We'll go ahead and load this up with some fuel real quick, and then we'll head over to field 9. So I'll see you guys over there. And if you just saw there, we just drove past some cows. I've actually never seen a field in a game, in a plot of land that we didn't own in the game that actually has, you know, any kind of animals on it. So that's a really cool touch. I've never seen anything like that before in this game. Driving past except at the animal dealer. I've seen the animal dealer has livestock now, but I've never seen another farm with livestock that's not our farm. So that's really cool. All right, and we're just pulling up to field 9 here. You can see it on our left. Pretty big field, a very nice looking field of wheat, or actually it's barley. Sorry, but yeah, I'm super excited. Again, just a beautiful day for harvesting, guys. Come on, 84 degrees in August. You cannot pick better weather for doing something like this. And just look at the views out here. This is a beautiful part of the world. I am so happy to be working here, even though the money is not, you know, it's hard work. Definitely earning every penny that we get, you know, but can't really complain. Could be doing way worse jobs, you know, than this. So we'll go ahead and pull up right here. I think I actually might. I'm trying to figure out where I want to disconnect the header. I could actually probably do it. You know what? We'll get off the main road here. Or I guess this really isn't a main road, but we'll go ahead and pull up right here, and then we'll just. You can see Richard's already there, sitting there at the edge of the field, ready for us. We'll let me make sure. I think this is the right side. Yeah, this is what I want. Okay, cool. So we'll pull up just a little bit more, kind of get past this hedge here, and we'll disconnect our trailer. We'll hop out here. Right, and so now we'll just swing around, avoid driving into the grain field. We got some clearance. Let's run over this bush there. No worries. We'll go and hook up to the header, and then, like I said, we'll actually swap with Richard. So we'll go ahead and jump on the tractor, do some grain carting, and we'll have him do the combining for this one. Little change of pace here. Let's connect that. Then we do have to manually attach the oh, whoops. Thing looks like it's we parked on a bit of a hill there, so the trailer just kind of shifted a bit. We can get out and move that manually though. Those types of trailers, you can just kind of push them. So we'll fix that up in a minute. Go ahead and just manually attach the PTO. There we go. That should be all hooked up. Now let's go ahead and have Richard get started, and we'll jump in the tractor, do some grain carting. All right, so it was actually really weird. When I jumped into the field there, it actually said that the contract had failed. So I don't know what happened there. A little bit of a weird glitch. So we're gonna actually jump over across the street to field 10. Same crop, barley. This field I think is a little bit bigger, if I'm being honest. Yes, this is 30 acres. Well, actually, it's, oh no, the field's only 26. So is this the right field? This is 16. Where are we at here? No, this is not the right field. We're on this one here. Oh, okay. I was gonna say the field owner looked like that wasn't the right name there. Yeah, so this one is gonna be, oh, pretty much the same size, 22.5 acres, barley, perfect. So we'll get that one harvested instead of a field 9. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. It was weird. I jumped into the field and then got the harvester turned on, and it just decided to cancel on us. So I don't know. Maybe sounds like he told us the wrong field to begin with. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump off across the street here and get this one harvested instead. But no worries there. Let's hope that this one is actually gonna work. There we go. Yep. This is working perfectly. All right, cool. So we'll go ahead and swap out here, grab the tractor, do some grain carting, get this done. All right, guys, and that is a wrap on this field. It's about just before 5 o'clock. Look at that. Pretty big field. Got through that in actually not as long. Didn't take as long as I thought, to be honest with you. We actually probably have time for one more contract for the day, but either way, we're going to go and head to the sell point real quick and get our payment all sorted out, and then we will maybe talk about another contract. So I will see you guys in just a second once we get up to the animal dealer to drop off our last load of grain. All right, and here we are just coming up to the sell point here. Just got to drive under this little garage here for the silo. And we'll go ahead and dump this grain just like so. And yeah, so we'll get, looks like we delivered all that was needed. We got our little kicker for fuel costs and all that, so it brings us up to 41,790. So now let's go ahead and calculate our base contracting fee based on the hours and the combine rental. So back here again in the spreadsheet, I actually forgot. Oh yeah, it was just about 5 o'clock when we ended that contract. So we'll put down 1,700 hours, which means that took us about 2.25 hours to get that done. So 15 minutes, quarter hour. Took us, 3 to 5 is 2 hours, and then the extra 15 minutes we'll get 2.25. And so our carting costs are going to be the grain carting rate per hour times our number of hours. So we have $176 there. And then our total will be 1,800 bucks. So not bad. Makes sense that twice the acres, we got about double the income, and that didn't take us too long at all. So I'm pretty happy with that. So let's jump back into the game, get this added into our account, and then we will get started on potentially one more contract to finish up the episode. All right, you guys, and you could see we've just accepted a contract just down the road on field 2. We were just up here, did field 10. Field 2's just under 13 acres. Should not take us any time at all. And then once we're done with that, actually, there's a contract available on field 1 as well. The only problem with field 1 is that you have to deliver all the way up here to where we just were at the animal dealer. So that's a pretty long way to go with that slow tractor. I mean, I guess not that much farther than where we are now, but it's going to be quite a ways. So I figured, I wanted to take this one first since the drop-off point is actually right here. This is a cool little spot too. This is at the old grain mill, which is right by this where you ford the river. I don't know if you caught it in the time lapse when we were taking the tractor up to the sell point that you actually got to drive through this little river here. So pretty cool feature, in this area. So can't complain there. But yeah, let's go ahead and get our equipment. Just move down the road real quick and we'll get started on that contract to kind of wrap things up for today. Oh, would you look at that? I backed this up so perfectly, it just hooked right on. I didn't even have to get out of the cab. I heard it click and it's just like, I guess it just automatically hooks up if you get it just right. So cannot complain about that. All right, let's go turn this around. We'll just go ahead and loop in the field here real quick since we know this was just harvested. And we're going to go just down the road here. Shouldn't take us too long to get over there. Unfortunately, this harvester is a little bit slow. But while we're driving over there, I want to know a couple things. So first of all, let me know in the comments if you like or don't like anything about this new payment structure that we got set up here. I think it's kind of fun to play the game with a little bit of a, added realism. And it makes things a little bit more challenging. I feel like it's always really, really easy to make money in this game. And so I think, in this series, as we progress through and purchase or upgrade, our equipment, it's going to feel really satisfying because we know that we worked hard for that money. And two, speaking of purchasing equipment, where do you want to go with this series? I'll leave a poll up. I think there actually might already be one up from, I might have asked this even in the first episode, about where we want to take this series. And mainly I want to know, do we want to continue as like as a big end goal? Do we want to be a contractor, or do we want to be do we want to try to purchase our own farm at some point? What do we want to save up our money for? And then even if we do decide to be a contractor, do we want to stick with harvesting, or do we kind of want to branch out to other jobs as well? Invest in some equipment like a cultivator or a fertilizer spreader or something like that, so we can tackle some different jobs. So those are kind of our three options. Do we want to be a harvesting contractor? Do we want to be just a general farm contractor, or do we want to just kind of quit the contracting business altogether and save some money and buy our own farm? Let me know what you guys think. Go check out the poll, and we'll kind of, that'll determine how we continue with the rest of the series. But here we are, just pulling up to the field. I'm going to make sure that there's nobody on my right, because that would be very, very bad. It looks like we're clear, so I'm going to go ahead and just pull up over here to the up on this grass here. We'll disconnect our trailer, and then we can just hook up to our header very easily. Let's jump out here real quick. Disconnect that. And then very simple, we can just loop around here. It's funny, it seems like all the fields in this map have this like weird kind of ridge around them of like elevated land where, you kind of drive up on these hills. So we're doing a little bit of a, I mean, I guess we're always off-roading in the combine, but doing a little bit more hills than it's probably used to. So just got to be careful, always got to be mindful of where we're driving, especially since we're only in cab. Yeah, we'll go ahead and hook up to this, and then we just have to jump out and hook up the PTO. Just like that. Or like that. There we go. Very simple. And I think Our trailer's stuck now, of course, so gotta love that. Yeah, it's not too bad. Not as bad as it was last time. But yeah, I think with that being said, I think we're gonna go ahead and call it an episode here for today. So we'll go ahead and get started with this contract. We'll call it 5 o'clock start, and we'll finish this up off camera as I run into my header trailer there. We'll finish this up off camera, and then I'll just tell you guys kind of, man, what is going on with this thing? Oh, I guess I'm just running into it. That's what's happening. Yep. Just not being mindful of my surroundings. It's okay. We'll fix that later. What can I say? But anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And let me know again in the poll what you think about where we should take the series. But in the meantime, hope you guys all have a great rest of your week. And I'll see you guys in the next episode when we're done with this contract, and probably in the next month. It'll be September by then. So we'll look forward to some more continued harvesting into the early fall. So have a great week, and I'll see you guys later.